All right. We are fucking live. Give me a second. I'll get the camera turned on. Yeah, I'll be out here doing my podcast. All right. Me. You know I'm live, right? Mm-hmm. Just mad my meat's now in my hands and not yours. Okay, aside from the bad homoerotic jokes, so roommate, brother, here we go. Boom, we are fucking live. Ah, we're only 15 minutes late for the one person who reads my tweets on Twitter, X, whatever the fuck it's called. I said we were going to be a little late today because I was coming back down from Austin. I had to go by a brand new front door, which you can kind of see right here. I want to change out the front door in the house. Got pre-hung one, it's just easier. Now we're not smoking anything fancy today. We're actually smoking something that some people consider they just don't like it. What we're smoking is a factory smoke by Drew Estates. And for a stick that costs maybe $50 for a bundle of 25, so it's around $2 a stick, I'm not gonna fucking complain. If I have to throw it out, it's not a big deal. Plus, they taste good. For a $2 stick, they're pretty fucking solid. But there are people that will tell you, don't smoke that. That's cheap. And yeah, it is cheap. But cheap isn't always bad. Expensive isn't always good. Now, I've been on vacation. Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's. I just figured, fuck it, I'll take a vacation. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything, but I was on vacation. But I did get some personal projects done. I got a proof of concept for a three finger or three cigars leather case. I finally went and bought all the dowels to do the molding, and with some improvement, it'll be perfect. Now, granted, these are rough and I need to fine tune them to make it really nice, but the dowels are shaped. I've got enough to stretch uppers and lowers, and it'll be fine. I'll make it work. That's what I do. I make shit work. And I have a use for the cup holder now, or the koozie. Just put that in there. Fuck. That shit just burnt my fucking work bench. Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a workbench if it didn't got some burns on it. Mm. But no, I had a good time off. Had a great New Year's. Didn't do anything. Didn't go anywhere. It was wonderful. Trust me, when you hit your 40s, going places is just overrated. Staying home is where it's at. Home is where you can nap and not be judged for taking a nap at like 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, next week, I'm going to try to have a guest. I'm going to try. There's no guarantee, but, I'll at least try to have a guest. But we're we're doing good. The weather thing's slowly building up, slowly taking off. I'm working on a logo for that. It'll be different than this logo here. My baby, my boy. Look what they did to my boy. It'll be nicer than that. It'll be a way more formal and professional looking logo. I hope. I think it'll look good. And we have a lot of the valet trays done. Like I'm almost out of material for those. I've got a lot, and I mean an absolute lot of the cigar pipe stands done. The current iteration where they're dyed and made with a rivet instead of being stitched, which really does help expedite production. You know, I still have my personal one with a concho, but we're working on some other designs. Like I'm working on one that will have a grommet that you can put key rings on or a clip, put it on your belt buckle. You know, that would be good. That would be like the next generation. So we're on like 4.2. That would be like 4.3, which would be fine. That would work. That would work well. You know, but we have other things going. We still have some wallets we need to finish up. We need to make a bunch of the scar faces. I need to not drop stuff. That would be nice. Yeah, don't drop stuff. Yeah, that would be fucking convenient. And then once we have a big enough inventory, we can go to market and sell, which will be nice because then I'm not having to do what I'm doing right now, which is take an order, make an order, which kind of sucks. Take an order and make an order. Yeah, that works. And you can get, your business going that way, which is what I'm doing. But I would rather have a bunch of inventory for people to pick from. I mean, that's why I have all this stuff cut out for wallets, T pockets, front and back plates, and the front pockets and back pockets. I have a bunch of those set up and ready just to stitch, which will be nice. You know, doesn't have to be anything fancy. And then maybe, for the sake of expediency, once I get the LLC fully established, I get a bank account for it for the company, keep all that money separate from all my other money. I can then get a business loan for a industrial sewing machine because that would make life so much faster for some of the stuff like these cigar cases. I could zip them out in no time. I won't even have to punch holes. I can just literally run it through the machine. Now, granted, I like to put little grooves in for where I'm going to stitch, so it looks nice. But it's not going to require me to sit there and just punch hole after hole after hole for stitching. I can just throw a little tape on it, assemble it, groove it, run it through, run it back, done. And I already know how I'm gonna do it because on these I do little bands of thread over these ends to lock it in. But on a sewing machine, I'll start down here, go up, turn the piece, go back around, run a single stitch all the way over here, and then run it all the way back through to about here to get a good double stitch, double lock stitch on it, which I can then add the loops of thread to make it look fancy, you know. And I can just get a bunch of those done. Then I can get a bunch of dowels made and I can actually just mold them for cigars because you wet mold them. I also want to do an experiment on dip dyeing where I get a half-gallon mason jar and just fill it with, oh, I don't know, 2 parts dye, 1 part reducer, and then just try soaking pieces in there for a couple minutes, pulling them out, dripping them dry, and all that, and seeing if that gets better saturation than what I've been doing. But like I said, we got stuff going on. We've got irons in the fire that we are actively working. I'm just waiting on a fucking rebate to come in and pay me what I'm fucking owed. There's some other shit I did, some other work. because I don't have just one job. I have multiple jobs. I have full time. I have two part times, and then I've got a side hustle. I'm a working kind of guy. But that's why I don't beg for money. I have money. I don't have like all the money in the world, but I've got enough to be comfortable. Where I can afford my lifestyle, my responsibilities. I can afford my mother's rent, my rent. I can afford all that. When I say my mother's rent, I mean my mom lives in a nursing home that I pay for because she did not manage her money well. And I'll be damned if she lives in some state run facility that only takes Medicaid and Medicare, where they don't even abuse the old, they just neglect them. I don't want that for her. I'm willing to pay what I'm paying for her nursing home, you know? But again, that's something I've always said. I have my own money, I have my own income, right? I will never beg for donations. I will never beg for bits. Hell, I even took off the donation goal because I don't care. I'd much rather somebody follow. Following's fucking free. If you follow, that's awesome. You know, I'd rather people just follow. I don't care about money. I say that, yet I have ads on this stream every 30 minutes with a banner ad. Go fucking figure. But yeah, no, it's not bad. It's pretty good. I'm happy with the way things are progressing with the leather work. I'm happy with the way things are going with my day job. I'm happy with things going on with my two part times, and I'm happy with my side hustle. Things are going good, which is awesome. And that's the thing. It's better to try to live a life free of need than to pursue a life free of want. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying it's not, you shouldn't want stuff or you shouldn't try to buy things you want. I'm saying focus on taking care of your needs first, right? Take care of your housing, food, bills, take care of that stuff first. And if that stuff is taken care of, anything fucking else you get, dog's freaking out, anything else you get in life will just be extra. It'll be gravy, you know? And that's a healthier way of looking at it. Because I got friends that are miserable and they're chasing that keeping up with the Jones lifestyle. They have to have the bigger, better TV. They have to have a better car. Oh, the neighbors are painting their house. We better renovate ours. I've got friends that do that and they're miserable. They're miserable and they're not using their money well. They're always talking about, oh, we're struggling here. It's like, yeah, but why are you dumping 5 grand into your kitchen just because the neighbors got their kitchen redone? You bought this house 5 years ago. It was built 7 years ago. It's still a virtually new home. You're the first family to live in it. The kitchen looked great. It was modern. It was nice. It was very clean. But they had to renovate because their neighbors were renovating their kitchen. And the whole reason their neighbors are renovating their kitchen is because they had a pipe burst and they have to fuck place all the drywall and cabinets anyway. So fuck. Might as well just redo the whole kitchen. But as long as your needs are taken care of, you don't have to worry about your wants. Like, I want stuff, but I know that as long as my housing is taken care of, my bills are taken care of, and I've got food in my fridge, food in my pantry, and food in my freezer. Hell, in my freezer, my little chest freezer, that we got a lot of food in there. And I don't mean like, oh, frozen fucking dinners. No, I mean we've got about 70, 80 pounds of dough meat from a deer and about probably 90 to 120 pounds of hog. You know, food, we're good. Protein, we're good. We don't have to buy protein. We also got a bunch of frozen chicken, which doesn't really matter. But we're okay for that. If I want to go out to eat, that's separate. I don't have to because I have food here at my house. You know, I don't have to worry about, oh, well, what am I going to eat for dinner? I don't have anything to eat. No, I've got options upon options to eat. Canned goods, frozen food, frozen veggies, canned veggies, fresh veggies. Always keep a bag of potatoes and a bag of onions in your pantry. Trust me, as an adult, you can make many meals with that. You know? But, you don't have to worry so much in life. You know? If you want something, save up for it. That's the best way to do it. Every car I've bought, I've paid cash for. Well, one car I literally paid like, a couple grand in cash for. But the last two cars, including my current Jetta, I paid for outright. Now, granted, when I went to the dealership, I let them think I was going to finance it so that, I can get a slightly better price. You know, like every time, this is like the best piece of advice I can give you if you go to buy a car, used, new, doesn't matter, is that you know what you're willing to spend. Don't let them know. Don't let them know. No, I'm not saying buy a car that you can't afford. No. In all honesty, if you're going to buy a car, talk to your bank or your credit union and get pre-approved for an auto loan and save up a good down payment so that you can go further. Or just if you're like me and just save and save and save money, save up for what the car will cost. But when you go in, know what you want. Know what car you want. Know what car you want. Do your research. Find the car you want at a dealership, right? And when you go in, that's not the car you go look at. You look at a car that's similar to it, but not the one you want. You look at the one that's similar, and then you let them talk you into the one you want, because then they think they have the power. But every time they mention how much can you afford monthly payment, what's your budget, go, yeah, we'll talk about that after we agree on a price. That's the key. After you agree on a price and you sign that purchase agreement, you got them, because they're going to try to get you to go to their lender for the car loan because they'll have a higher interest rate because they don't know you. They don't know you from Adam. But if you go to your credit union or your bank, they know you. They know you very well, and they'll be more apt to give you a better interest rate on a car loan. And don't take a car loan for longer than 36 months. 3 years. If you cannot pay that car off in 3 years, you cannot afford that car. I'm sorry. That's just how it works. You know? So don't let them know how much you're willing to pay a month. Don't let them know that you already have a pre approved loan from your financial institution. That way you can talk them down to a lower price. And once you have that purchase agreement signed, there's only two things they can do: refuse the sale or just accept defeat. And most of the time, they'll accept defeat because car dealerships have to get rid of the cars. They have to get rid of their cars. They do not own the car, with the exception of cars that sit on the showroom to show you what options are on a new car. They have to sell every car they have. New, used, they have to get rid of them. They cannot hold them for more than a year. If they do, then they start getting penalized by the manufacturer or their lending agency for having inventory backlog. Now, it's a little different for used cars, but new cars, they have to get rid of, they have to sell them by the end of 2 years or they get penalized, which is really bad for them. But that could be good for you. Like when I bought my 2017 All Tracks, right? It'd been on that lot for a year and a half. I knew which one I wanted. I said I wanted an SEL trim level, but I really wanted the S. So I let them talk me into the S they had on the lot and the color I wanted. I also didn't let them know I was paying cash, and I got them to honor their agreement. And the best part was every time they said, "Well, let's talk about what you can afford a month." No, we'll talk about that after we agree on a price. Okay. Who's your lender? We'll talk about that later. I let them think I was going to finance the car. There were a couple times I got up and walked out of the dealership and went outside. And I let them talk me back into the table with a sweeter little offer. And I got a new car, a brand new fucking car with less than 10 miles on it that should have cost about $23,000. I got it for 20,000, 25, yeah, 20,500 bucks. I got it at a sweetheart deal. Part of that was they wanted to charge an extra 3 grand for addendums that weren't on the purchase order for the car. And they weren't on the sticker for the car. So I got free window tinting, mud mats, monster mats, cargo lock blocks, all sorts of really good shit for that car that I still have. I got fucking free because they fucked up. And once they realized that, they realized they were stuck with it. They couldn't change it. And it wasn't until we had agreed on a price and I shook hands with the sales manager and signed the paperwork that I say, oh, I just got to talk to my bank and have them wire you all the money. What? What? Yeah, no, I'm paying outright. I'm just paying outright for the fucking car. You're not making any goddamn more money off this car than you are at this point. Aside from TTL, and that goes to the fucking state. That's the trick. If you do that, you can save yourself some fair money on a car. And the only reason I learned to do that was because I found a YouTube channel of this guy that runs a little academy teaching people how to sell cars. And I used his information against him. And I will continue to do so. Like when the sales agent was, you wouldn't haggle when you buy groceries. It's like, if I'm buying 5 figures worth of groceries, you better believe I'm going to haggle. You better believe I will haggle over fucking 5 figures for fucking groceries. I will haggle till I am blue in the face, you know? Or they pulled out this four-corner worksheet. It's just the biggest con. It is one of the biggest shell games they'll play. And they use their four-corner worksheet to try to get as much money out of you as they can because it's their job, it's what they do. And so they'll have, your down payment, interest, this, that, and they will try to shift all of these around to where you think you're saving money in one corner, but in the other three you're losing your shirt, you're paying more. And because they pulled that out a couple times, like if you pull that out, I will walk away. And they pulled it out, and I walked away. I walked outside. And then they came back, we won't pull it out again. 30 minutes later, they pulled it back out. Like, I'm leaving. I told you not to pull that shit out. And they only did it twice. But you have to be firm. If you say you're going to leave, walk out of the dealership. If they don't come and get you within 3 minutes, get in your car, drive away. They don't want your sale. They don't want it. Yeah, but no, it's just it's buying a car isn't a quick and easy process. It is a dance. It really is a dance. It is a hour, 2 hour long dance. And I got that car for a really good price. And then a drunk driver rear-ended me and destroyed that car and put me in the hospital for over a month. That was fun. That was real fun. Yeah, don't ever get hit by a drunk driver while you're sitting at a red light. Trust me, that sucks. Especially if they're driving a Nissan Titan and they were doing about 90. That was terrible. Would not recommend doing that ever again. And I still miss that All-Trax, that Golf All-Trax. It was a Passat-sized station wagon Golf that was compatible with, I think, the Audi A4 for all the parts, because, they're Volkswagen. And I loved it. It was all-wheel drive, the Triptronic DGS transmission, so I could put it in manual mode. Ooh, I could shift up and down gears. Which I guess technically it is a manual because the transmission, the DGS is like a dual clutch computer controlled transmission. So it works, but I loved it. Like in regular mode, it was like, I think it was 60/40 front and rear. When you put it in off road mode, it went 40/60 front and back. And then when you put it in sport mode, it went 30/70 front and back. Like that car could haul ass, but that car handled so fucking well. Oh my god. With that all-wheel drive, that car handled like warm butter on hot toast, just right where you want it. It was fun. I loved that car. Oh my god, I love that car. And I miss that car. I want that car back. you know? But oh man. But I'm happy with my Jetta, my shitbox Jetta. It's the last of the VR6 twin turbos. It hauls fucking ass. It'll haul ass. Trust and believe. Your boy has a heavy foot. It'll haul ass. But it gets incredible good gas mileage. And it's an SEL. It's fully fucking loaded. In fact, the story on that car, on the Jetta, the reason I bought a 2016 with less than 200 miles in 2019 is because it sat its entire life on the sales floor of the dealership. It has every option you could get on a Volkswagen because it's, hey, this is what you could have. This is every option we have. Premium audio, the luxury trim line, comfort suspension, sports package. The thing is a beast. And it's got every option that you could get because it's the demo car. This is what you could buy. This is what these options are. And the only reason I got it for so cheap is because it was the end of the year. They had to get rid of it. They Volkswagen had changed the body styles on the Jetta, so they had to get rid of that car. And they forgot on the price for the online ad, the print ad, which I looked at both. They forgot a one in front of that seven. They wanted 17,000. I paid 7,000 because they didn't catch it until after the purchase agreement, and I had already put through for the money transfer from J.P. Morgan to the dealership. And then they spent 2 years trying to buy that car back for more than I paid for it because they got in trouble for selling for way less than they should have. But again, I did my research. I found a car I liked, and I did the little dance with the sales team at the dealership to buy the fucking car. And I got an incredibly good deal on a virtually brand new Jetta. Hell, there were still 6 months on its factory warranty when I bought it. And there were still 3,400 miles on its factory warranty. Like, normally warranty is 36 months or 3,600 miles. Well, this one had 6 months left on that warranty, which was nice. But no, I love that little car. And like I said, it's got every fucking option. I've got premium audio. I've got the luxury comfort pack with seat heaters, which don't get a lot of use down here in San Antonio unless my back hurts. Or if I go and pick up food and put it on the passenger seat to keep it warm. It's got a leather wrapped steering wheel, all the fancy shit that you could ever fucking want. I mean, I've got options on that car that I've never even used. But I got it for a fucking steal. I can't deny that. I got stupid lucky on that one. because I was looking at a 2014 TDI Passat SEL, and they wanted 6,000 for it, but that Jetta, ooh, I could not pass that fucking Jetta up. The Passat only had 1,500 miles on it, and it was a TDI, so it's part of that reclaim, the recall when they took back all the turbo diesel Volkswagens. But that Jetta, oof, I could not pass up that deal. I mean, let's face it, a virtually brand new car still had time on its warranty, miles on its factory warranty. Could not pass that up. Now, I know that some people are thinking about buying a car to do rideshare like Uber, Lyft, and stuff like that. And I wouldn't do that with a car you owe money on. It's you're going to depreciate the value of the car because, like my Jetta, I've got over 300,000 miles on that motherfucker, and the 4 years I've owned it, and the bulk of those miles are from doing Uber at night on weekends. Uh, excuse me, you know. But I paid for the car; I own it outright, and I'm okay with putting those kind of miles on. You know, as long as you do basic maintenance and upkeep and replace little parts when they break so they don't cascade and become a bigger problem. Volkswagens kind of last, you know? Do your oil changes every 10,000 miles or 6 months. Fucking get tires rotated, get your brakes checked. You know, as long as you do what you're supposed to, it's not that big of a problem, you know? Like the most expensive problem I had is I was in the hospital for a couple weeks a couple of years ago in 2021. Uh, they never found out what I was sick with. I was horribly sick. It wasn't COVID. It was some sort of viral infection, or it was a bacterial infection. And I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, and my girlfriend had my car, and I'll never forget. She comes to pick me up from the hospital in my car. She goes, "Your brakes are making a weird noise." I'm like, "Oh shit." My brakes are making a weird noise. That means they're either squeaking, which means I can just change the pads, or they're grinding, which means I gotta possibly deal with new rotors or milling rotors and all that shit. And turns out she had ground those brakes into the rotors, and it was a nightmare. It was about $1,200 to fix both rotors and replace one of the calipers because she had worn the pad past the braking surface to where the metal part fell out of the God, what the fuck is it called? Caliper. And the pistons were pushing against the rotor, so it was grinding down both the rotor and the pistons for the brake caliper, and that had to be replaced. But if she had just not driven the car and let it squeak, I would have just done the brakes, been out a couple $100 and been done with it. But like I said, if you fix the small thing, it prevents a bigger issue. Like your brakes have on the pad have this little piece of metal. So you have the back plate here. You have the actual friction surface that hits the caliper or the drum, depending what kind of brakes you have. But there's this little metal tab that sits about here. So as this wears down, this little metal tab will get there and it'll start to squeak. It's called a squeaker plate. And that's an audible signal of, hey, you need to get your brake pads replaced. So when you hear your brakes squeak, you may need to replace your brake pads. If you hear your brakes grinding, then you've got a bigger issue. So if you replace the pads while it's squeaking, you don't have the grind. But again, that goes into if you own a car, you need to stay up on the maintenance. Which is funny because I live in a city where people don't do that. You will see cars where they obviously have a burned out piston rings because at a stoplight they start belching that blue oily smoke when they go to take off. And that's a bad thing. That is actually not good. That's going to kill your engine. Or you'll hear their brakes grinding because, oh, the car still stops. I don't need to worry about it. Or hell, I had a friend that never changed the oil in his car ever. Like from the time he bought it to the time it died, he never changed the oil over 5 years, and that engine seized up on the freeway. That was fun, but people are going to do stupid things. But on the topic of back on the topic of Leatherworth, I have a literal box filled with cigar and pipe stems. And I've got some that are hand stitched in this wonderful gloss black that I'm going to sell for $20 a piece because that finish is a little more expensive. I have the same gloss black with rivets, which again they'll sell for 20 because the gloss black is an expensive finish, right? I've got a few of these brown ones. Somewhere in here are the hand sewn ones. Yeah, here it is. It's got a hand sewn shown brown, burnished edges. These are 15. They flex, they hold a pipe so wonderfully. And they hold a cigar off its bench. And I've got them with rivets. And I've got matte black, which are 15, that have rivets, and a couple are hand sewn. And so, literally have a box of cigar pipe stands ready to go. The wallets I'm still working on. The cigar cases I'm still working on. And I'm still prototyping a cigar bag. But for the ballet trays, I am almost out of material to make these. I have, a fair amount. I don't expect to sell a lot of these, but they're all riveted, they're all pre-made, and they're all reversible. So those will be coming to market soon, which I'm happy about because I really like these and I'm really proud of them. And a lot of people like them, you know, a lot of people like them. So we have a bunch of shit going on that we're working on that's good. And for like anyone, if you want to start a little business and you want to make things, you don't have to make a million fucking products right out the gate. I'm making 5 things: cigar stands, the cigar and pipe stands, the valet trays, wallets, and 2 types of cigar cases, both a 3-stick and a 2-stick case. You know, that's all I'm making. I'm not making a bunch of different products, you know. Now I'll make variations of other products that I already have. Like I'm making variations of the cigar and pipe stands. But this pipe bag that I'm working on, I'm still prototyping it. And as it's a prototype, it'll hold like this, fold over. There will be a buckle that holds it shut, but there's room for, 2 pipes and bag to put your bag of tobacco in or your tins of tobacco, you know. But this is a prototype and I'm not done with it. I still need to make revisions. Like I need to find a way to make a spot or pocket in here where you could store your cutter, not your cutter, your lighter, your tamper, your pipe tool, you know. But again, that's what prototyping's for. And I kind of want to do it to where the strap hides those rivets for the pipe loops. And the pipe loops just hold the pipe. They're just there to hold the stem of the pipe. And they're not super tight because you can rotate them as you need them, you know. Like if you got a big bowl pipe, you can rotate this one up to hold it a little more protected. Yeah, it's nothing, nothing overly fancy, you know, but it's a good prototype. you know. But again, that's not a product I'm taking to market yet, you know. Like maybe after a year when I have a leather sewing machine, which would make this a lot easier to sew on the strap for the buckle and everything, and maybe sew in the pipe stands. No, I'll probably still rivet them. I like the way the rivets look, but sew up the pocket and other little pockets I may put up on this top flap. That's down the road. That's why we prototype, you know. And then after a year, when I have a sewing machine, I can zap these out in a hurry, and be another thing I can take to market, you know. But that's basically what I've got going for the leather business right now. Is just building inventory so that when I get the LLC established and approved, I can go to gun shows or the rodeo or various like county things, county fairs, and just sell stuff as a vendor, or I can go to like various other trade shows. Like I know there's cigar shows here in town that stuff like this would sell hotcakes. It'd be good to have inventory, but I don't want to be stuck doing take an order, make an order, get an order for something, and then you make that. That to me that takes too much time. There's a lot of turnaround involved with that. If I can have an inventory I can draw from and just replenish the inventory as I go, I feel like that's a better option, you know. And I may not stay, with these slim wallets. I may get a different design. I might do a billfold slim wallet because right now these are really arduous to stitch. These take about an hour to sew. And my arm hurts and my hands cramp because dialysis takes a lot out of me. So I don't get to work on as many of those as I would want. But again, that's something I can prototype later and get rolling on, you know? Right. It doesn't have to be an exacting science of what you're doing. You're allowed to make mistakes. It's part of life. But yeah, had a great New Year's. Went to a dinner and dance with my girlfriend. Ate some okay chicken cordon bleu. It was all right. Wasn't that great. Did some dancing. Took her home. Went and drove for Uber. Made a lot of money in 4 hours. Like, I did the math, and before cost of fuel and upkeep on the car and taxes, it was about $53 an hour. But after you take all that out, it was around 30 something dollars an hour. So it's not bad. It was good money in 4 hours. Damn good money. And I stayed busy all night. Like I got tired at like 1:30 a.m. I'm like, all right, now we're going home. I'm done for the night. I'm going home. I was tempted to stay online because right when I got to my driveway and I was about to, log out, I looked at downtown and downtown was sitting at about plus $50 on a trip for a surge. It was real tempting to stay online, but I didn't, you know. But I was tired. I don't like driving when I'm tired. You shouldn't drive when you're tired, you know. It's dangerous. It's almost as bad as being drunk when you're tired. You're nodding off, you're going all over the road. Just don't do it. Don't. It's not good. It's not good for you. But it is what it is. Plus, with all the cigar stuff that I'm making, I have pretty good connections with a bunch of cigar shops around town that would probably carry my inventory and sell it for me. Like, they'd buy it from me and they'd sell it on their own, you know, which is nice. But nah, been a busy day actually. Fucking went up to Austin from here in San Antonio to go pick up a door. Not worried about that. That was a nice little trip. Good to get out of town. Even if just an hour up the road. And of course, like any Texan driving through Texas, I had to make a we had to make a pilgrimage to Bucky's. We had to stop and pay our monetary tributes to the beaver. And your boy got jerky and a banana pudding. I love their banana pudding. It's always so damn good. But yeah, stopped at Bucky's, spent more money than intended, but it was worth it. I love their pepper jerky. So damn good. And of course, it was a fucking madhouse at Bucky's. Everybody and their fucking dog was at Bucky's. But that's what it is during the day. Busy as hell. But no, it was a pretty good day. Got a bunch of shit done around the house. Got a new front door. Gonna hang that next week. Well, that's a pre-hung door, so we just gotta take the old door out, put the new one in with the new frame, remove the old frame. Which ain't that bad. It's actually pretty easy. Unless the door frame's rotten. And the door jambs are rotten, then we'll have to replace them. But this shouldn't be. House is in good shape when we got it. Mm, I love that jerky. It's so good. And it goes good with the cigar. But what have y'all been up to? Tell me what you've been doing. That's what I want to know. Like, y'all been out partying, dancing, what? Tell me what you've done. All right. Well, it's about 5 o'clock, and I gotta go take care of some stuff. Yeah. Excuse me. I got some other stuff I gotta finish up around the house. So, if you liked it, drop a follow. You don't have to sub. You don't have to ever donate. You don't have to buy merch. You don't have to throw bits. Nothing. Just drop a follow. And we'll be back next Sunday at our usual time and usual location, hopefully with a guest. But until then, I'm South Texas Fail. I love y'all. Be good to each other. Bye.